We were in the Psicha Esin in number 12, Yud Beis. Yeah, and there's a Haggah there where he was discussing the idea being that another thing that you're over on, I'm going to say that when we speak Lashon Hara is Limud HaTorah. That's why you're speaking Lashon Hara, you're not learning. And he made a statement that you should know that there are times during the day that you're not learning and you're not transgressing the mitzvah. For example, if you're working for your parnasa, you're planning, you go to school to get a parnasa, all these things, he doesn't say it, I think, but if you're eating, right, all that's not called bittul Torah. That's how you're not mechuyev to be learning that. So he says on the bottom, he says this, that he made a statement that if you're working or not over on the mitzvahs, I say, you have to be careful that you shouldn't spend more time than it's really necessary for your parnasa. And shouldn't let the Yetzer Hara convince you. Because he's going to say, because he doesn't want you to learn, he doesn't want you to have time to learn, he's going to say, no, it's all. You got to do more. Everything is necessary. And if so, you end up at the end of the day without any time to learn. So you can't let the Yetzer Hara trick you into that. He says, make this test. Not make this test, but see. Understand how the Yetzer Hara blinds us. Is because the nature of a person is if another person does him a good, doesn't a benefit, helps him out. Does it for free, helps him out. Or if let's say he's a Baal Malacha. Someone hires him to fix his refrigerator, right? The more the person gives him, the more you do a better job. The more, right? If someone just helped you out, so that's a stimulus to you that you end up, helping the guy more. He says, he says, but when it comes to Hashem's service, that we're also considered hired workers. Because I'll say we are hired for the day. So here, a Yetzer Hara matis darkeinu, lasis mehipach Yetzer Hara convinces us to do just the opposite. The more Hashem gives you, your business is doing better, right? You're making more money. So what should be your response? I have to give more to Hashem, right? So I have to go learn more. Hashem's giving me more parnasa, now I can go learn. Well, what does the Yetzer Hara convince me? Say it to them like you taught. Now, now in your new status, right? Now you're already rich.
But learning isn't giving to Hashem. That's
well, yeah, it is in a way. This that what he quoted the Chazal Ananagiri Yoman that we're considered like hired workers. What's our job? To do Torah mitzvah, right? So Yetzer Hara comes and says, no, but now in your new status, you're on a new bracket. You need a nicer house. Your level with your income. You can't live in this house anymore. You need a nicer house. Better clothing. And have to live a lifestyle, higher lifestyle. Because if you don't, then your friends are going to look down at you. What are you, a shlum? You're a rich guy. You can't live this way. You're living in Sept. You only have 5 rooms. You don't have 15. So therefore, the Yetzer says, so you have no choice. You have to be mavatal now. It's like you had a set time for learning, but I can't do it now because now I need to put in more time so I could afford this high level of living. Velisa the market pliny and travel to such a place. So pliny love, you have to make money. And then when Hashem helps you and you really go to the next level, yes, and the Yitzhak comes back. Now, in other words, you say, okay, I got enough now. Now I can buy the new house, right? I can buy the nicer car. But the Yitzhak says, 1 minute. You say it to Shiito, Asokim, Rabim, Tachas. No, you have all these opportunities now. You have all kind of investments open to you now. You have the cash flow, right? So you got to get involved with that. And when you'll realize you can't handle this, it's already an empire. You can't do it on your own. So you'll say, yes, I can't do it, so enough. No, the Torah says, all these businesses that Hashem gave you, you got to hire a staff. And give each one his job, so that he could serve you in your businesses. And I guess you'll get all the profits. And as the days go on, your business grows more and more, and your involvement is more. So to sum up what I'm saying, says the Chavetz Chaim Seif Davar, the more Hashem gives you, more becomes a reason. The Torah is going to convince you with his arguments. Levatel instead of it being a reason to say, okay, so now I have the ability and I can serve Hashem more. The Torah convinces you that it's a reason why right now you can't. Until to the extent that then you have no time. I feel it's really with you, but you don't have time to go to Minyan because you got to be at work. And the whole time is convincing you that you have no choice. You got to do this because on your bracket, you have no choice but to be busy. And that little voice, that Yetzer Hara, is talking like a friend. And his argument is you shouldn't be mocked by your colleagues. If you don't keep on building. Right? So on one hand, the Yetzer Hara, unlike what it should be, that just like when a friend gives you something, so you try to serve him and do back for him. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you more, to be reason for you to serve him more and do more and learn more. The Yetzer Hara convinces you that you really have no choice, but you got to get more involved and more involved and more involved until you have no time. But when it comes to Olam Haba things, stop, because then the Yetzer Hara teaches you, accustoms you to do his tapkas. It's enough. Instead of you need more, you need less. That you should be even like in Olam Haba things, the poorest of the poor, that you won't have anywhere to hide from the klipos. Bonsa Besa, Zu Torah. Anyone who acquires divrei Torah, so you've acquired a house in Olam Haba. And the Yetzer Hara, who's convincing you that, let's say the Gemara says that the minimal limit Torah is Kriyashma in the morning and in the evening, convince you that's enough, which means that in Olam Haba you're not going to have much of a place, right? And you won't be protected from whatever the klipos are. Kisava Gan Eden who Gehenna. He says, well, says a couple of times, he explains to us, around Gan Eden is Gehenna. So chas v'chil, if you don't have a house in Gan Eden, which is Torah, Bonsa Pesa, goes on Torah, so you're then under the power of those klipas in Gehenna. And in place that the Torah, when you're in this world, convinces you that you need you need a dress with all kind of fancy clothing. Sham, there the Yetzer himself,
What's Panim Sehuvos?
It's like showing favor. So it's when you greet someone with like a friend, shining face.
But Sahov was yellow.
Yeah, but it's used as an expression as far as I know. So in this world, he's your friend, right? He shows you, I'm your friend. But then when you get there, he suddenly becomes a prosecutor. He himself will prosecute. That he's going to say that you have to be dressed in this disgusting clothing that's made from your averis. Yeshua, your lovers begotten tzoyim. There's a nevuah there, and Yeshua the Kohen Gadol was wearing these begotten tzoyim, and he stands in front of the malach. And there the nevuah says, "Asiru begotten tzoyim, remove those clothing, etc." But those begotten tzoyim are the result of your averis. And the Eitzah comes in the next world, and suddenly he was your friend the whole time. Suddenly he's prosecuting and bringing up all the wrong things you did. So therefore you have to give a lot of thought to it. When we say that it's not called Bittul Torah, and you're not about the mitzvah save learning Torah, when you're working for your parnasa, you have to make a real accounting. What do I need for my parnasa, and what's fluff? And it's just going to take me away. That without it I can't live at all. But and everything else, give it up. Give it up and do Torah mitzvahs. Ad kan hagah. That's the hagah on this. Now there was the next hagah on the next piece, where there he was quoted the Gra that explains what's din and what's cheshbon. The din is for the aver itself, and the cheshbon is for what you could have been doing at that time, the mitzvahs you could have been doing then, right? And at the end of that paragraph, that in place of doing mitzvahs of Talmud Torah, instead you did many averis of Dvarim Asurim. So he says on the bottom, as Rabbeinu Yonah writes, if a person does an avera intentionally, even one thing that's not halachically correct, many times, and he's doing the same avera multiple times. Because I could say I did one avera. It's considered I did multiple averas, like different averas. And he brings a raya from Marcus. They tell the Nazir, right, to aid him, tell him, don't drink this wine. And he drinks, then they tell him, don't drink this wine, and he drinks again. He's chayim, malchus, or whatever punishment for each act. As if it was two separate averas. He says, so it's obvious that the same thing's true over here in this mitzvah. And it's not comparable to the mitzvah of lulav or shofar, that shani hosam. That's different. Because the mitzvah is to do it only once a day, right? So that's all. You can't do it again. But the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, mitzvah Talmud Torah, is every moment you have that obligation.
Well, actually, that's not true.
Hold
Not
on,
true
hold
though,
on,
because you.
hold
Okay,
on.
okay, okay.
Line.
All right.
And you're not exempt at this moment because you learned Torah a moment ago. Memela damavato kamashoy. So if you're mavato a few hours, each time is a separate bittul of the mitzvah. Yes, what were you saying, Ron?
No, I'm saying which you're saying which mitzvah is or us is all day because
The
other
mitzvah of
mitzvahs.
learning Torah. The mitzvah of
Right,
learning
I'm saying
Torah. That's
mitzvah
what we're
tefillin is also all day. Like it's not a singular
the
type of
mitzvah
thing.
of tefillin, yeah, there are other mitzvahs also. The other
Yeah.
mitzvahs also. But when it comes to tefillin, so Chazal already, felt that we're not on the. There are conditions for fulfilling the mitzvah of tefillin, and if you can't fulfill them, you're not supposed to wear tefillin. Chazal already, decided that in our generations we're not up to doing it. The truth is that I don't know if you know, there was this a very big person in Yerushalayim called Zilberman, or Rav Silverman. He's the one who was Makarev Uri Zohar.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He met Uri Zohar at Zohar came to, I think, a brisa. He was totally secular, but one of his friends had become from, and he challenged him. Uri Zohar challenged him, you can't prove God or something, whatever. He said, well, if I do, what are you going to do? And whatever he did. And our Uri Zohar had the guts to stick to his truth. And that was, where it all started. In case he, in fact, argues, and he has he made a whole kehillah, as I think called the Zilbermans. They're in the old city. They have a whole school network. And one of the things they do is that they do it tefillin the whole day. Because he said, the mitzvah is a whole day. And if you can, you have to do it. In fact, he has a grandson who lives in my neighborhood on my block. And I see him walking, he goes to the grocery store, he has his tefillin on. It's covered with his hat, but he's wearing his tefillin. So they, in fact, do it. But whatever reason, the Klal Yisrael as in a general fashion, stop doing that because they don't feel can't forget you're wearing tefillin, you have to have only clean thoughts, you have to keep yourself clean, whatever, all the requirements that you're not allowed to wear tefillin if you don't do it. In any case, but you're right, for someone who could, theoretically, he should. All the Chofetz Chaim is just pointing out the mitzvah of Talmud Torah is a parallel to when you do many averos, like a nazir is not supposed to drink wine, and drank wine, then he drank wine again, and drank wine again. Obviously, you don't get malchus each time unless there's hasra. So there was hasra. I don't know hasra. Each time, even though it's the same avera, it's considered a separate avera, and you get punished. So the same thing's true being mavatal the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, since the chiyuv was every moment that you have free, whatever definition you want to use. Like we said, you're allowed to relax and you're allowed to play ball if you need it for your mental health, your physical health. But whenever you're just free time, you're obligated to learn, and every minute is a separate mitzvah, we said. So therefore, you're being mavatal every moment, another mitzvah. Okay, and therefore, when you speak Lashon Hara at the time, you could have been learning. Obviously, you don't have to speak Lashon Hara. So that time you held responsible for, besides for the actual avera, you held responsible for that time that you weren't learning Torah. And each minute, each word, he said every word is another mitzvah, is considered another avera. All right, let's go to Shmiras haLashon. We were in middle of Chof Gimel Tishrei. It was a long one, and he was saying over there were three things, if I remember. Oh, he had compared. He didn't compare. Chazal compared someone speaking Lashon Hara to a rabid dog, to a dog with rabies, and he was developing the mashal. Chaim was developing the mashal based on the Gemara in Yoma that says the simonim. There are 5 simonim, of a kelev shotev. You see a dog. There are 5 ways, 5 things it does that could indicate to you that it's rabid. And one was that it goes with its mouth open, its saliva is always dripping, its ears are laid back, its tail is hanging between its legs, it doesn't hang up, and he walks on the sides of the Rishus Harabim, that's the 5. And then the Gemara says, others add another thing, that it barks, but the sound doesn't really come out. And the Gemara there says that if you touch it, you're in danger of dying, and if it bites you, then you die. They didn't have in those days rabies vaccines or whatever. Okay, so he explains the Chazal, and Chazal drew a parallel between this Kelev Shaita and a haLashon Hara. So we did the first 2, and now we're in middle of the paragraph. On my page, it's right in the middle of the page, actually. Oid Gimel Siman Yesh B'Kelev Shaita. There were 3 more. He dealt with the first 2. So there were 3 more. One was Oznav Sruchais, its ears are laid back, and its tail hangs between the legs, and it walks on the sides of the street. Fine. So he says, this Kelev Shaita milvad mashin shichasa he musukenes admoid. Besides the fact that its bite is very dangerous, and also the animal has sort of a desire to bite. It's like wild, it attacks. So in order, the dog's smart, so to speak, in order that people shouldn't hide from the dog, they go to sakana because they know the tremendous danger. The mother says there's a ruach around the dog, it's very dangerous. So what does the dog do? He hides, and he does his best to hide himself. And therefore, sort of pulls himself in so it's not noticeable. His ears are pulled down, his tail is pulled down, not to call attention, and he walks on the side, unobtrusive. And then suddenly Upagel Adam catches someone and bites him. Therefore he walks, and he doesn't run, and he walks only on the sides of the Rishon, doesn't walk in front of people. Because people walk is a place where people walk. So that he does this, the dog, so anyone who sees him, he's minding his own business. He's walking quietly on the side, not calling attention to himself. And they're caught off guard. Because that's why his ears are hanging down. We know Chazal gave the dogs a very acute sense of hearing, so that he could protect himself, he could hear danger. So this dog, this dog that wants to endanger everyone, walks on the sides of Rishus Harabim, and in brackets, what does it mean? They're large and they're folded down, as Rashi explains there. So that people see him, right, should assume that the dog's busy with its own things. The same reason that he doesn't raise his tail, rather he leaves it hanging down. So, and that's all. It's like a masquerade. It's a camouflage. So everyone should think it's quiet dog. He doesn't want to get into any exchange with people, so he's lying low and he's walking quietly, right? And that puts people off guard. And then Chazal brought there are others who say he also barks, but you don't hear him. Who are called mitamanal? It's all the same thing. Kadesh used for oilam, that people should be caught off guard. They should think this is a good dog. You don't have to protect yourself from it. Okay, but this is all a result of the ruach ra. Now, how does that a parallel to the Baal Lashon Hara? That's what we're trying to say. Kain Mamashu Baal Lashon Hara. He says that's Mamash the Baal Lashon Hara. Mavad Mashu Chayker Tamid. Achar Hanasa Bebotayir. Besides the fact that he's always looking around what's going on at other people's houses, in order that he'll have the goods to speak, what to say. Rashi says, but he also shows a different color. After a while, people start recognizing that this guy is a Baal Lashon Hara, right? They catch on that he's hanging around. Why? To hear some good, juicy Lashon Hara, so he could spread it. Well, so everyone stays away from this guy. So what does he do? He does the same thing the rabbi does. He walks on the sides, balat, quietly, as if he's not interested in what's going around him, right? He's laying low. And in that way, he's able to pick up all the juicy stuff, right? Because no one's protecting themselves from him, because he's acting like the dog, not calling attention to himself, if he's minding his own business, walking quietly on the side. And also when he speaks the Lashon Rechilas, he also does it in a sneaky way. He doesn't make it sound like he's here to tell a story. He's just speaking, they're schmoozing. He makes it sound like he has no agenda here. And he won't even say the whole thing explicitly. Just he drops the hints. Person listening will understand the whole thing. But he's like lying low, because he knows that people are going to stay away from him. They already know to watch out for him. So I'm not involved. I'm on the side. Okay, I think we should stop here. And we'll follow through with the rest of the mashal tomorrow. Bezos Hashem, Yisbarach. Have a good night, good day.